best types of plumbing jobs for me, that 9 to 5s, are the ones where I'm able to come in, do work, overtime, don't really chat to too many people. People think that I am stuck up or something, or I've got some type of problem. But it's good because it keeps people from engaging in stupid conversation with me, which during the 9 to 5 lifestyle, I'm not really here for, to be honest. I'm just here to get my money and leave. You know, I don't want to get involved in any politics. I don't want to talk to you about the news. I don't care about what's going on there. I care about what's going on inside here, inside the workplace, because that's just what we should be focused on. And as long as we focus on that, there ain't going to be no other problems. But there's always this side where people want you to, you know, be socially available to be able to conversate. Oh, let's talk about this, or let's talk about that, or let me have your input on this. And I kind of refrain a lot from doing that, because I know that I don't have to be anywhere for a long time. As me as a plumber, I'm talking, just because there are loads of jobs for plumbers like me to get into, and the money's good, I'm not gonna lie, but the politics is always the same. The politics is someone not liking you. The politics is someone didn't like the way you done this, or could you go and speak to this person? Even when I've tried to be the most adult version of myself, right? So when I've been in workplaces, I've wrote reports before, I've wrote out job sheets and stuff like that. So I'm talking about stuff like that. So I go into detail because I know what I'm talking about. So I expect people to read what I've written if I've written, like, I don't know, 10 paragraphs or something like that about the job, because it's important, you know, like, and I think in my head that other people value those things, but they don't. They value the point of, like, all the chatting shit outside and the bantery jokes and you being their quote unquote mate or friend. You know, we're not friends. Don't lie, man. A lot of the people who I've seen inside workplaces, I would never invite them to my house. And they could have watched my videos before, or some of them have.
Average speed check.
And my honest opinion is that, yeah, again, I'm not lying. I would never invite any of them into my house at any point. Because even though you spend a lot of time with people, yeah, you understand the disingenuous character when you see one. Everybody does. Someone who acts like a friend but is doing playground stuff, like chatting shit about people behind their back and stuff like that. Come on, man, you're not that person, man. Why are you speaking about that person for? They don't even rock with you, or they don't even talk to you like that. But you got something to say about them. It's just childish, man. And I see this through, like, grown adults. I've met so many grown adults who, they got kids and stuff. And my question always was, right, you got a woman and you behave like the way you behave. But someone might say that from seeing one small clip of my video. Do you get it? And taking it out of context, obviously. But I expect a little bit more from certain individuals because you're of age, but it doesn't mean that you've grown up. It just means that you're of age and you act like the way you do. That's what it really means. And it's not sad or nothing, because when I come across them, I really realise that I would not want someone to see me in that type of light. And I would be more aware of the things what I'm saying around people, because words mean things when you say them, right? You know, like I worked with a guy, and I work with a lot of black people. Yeah, I do work with a lot of black people sometimes at certain workplaces, right? And this Jamaican man, he was thankful to be in the situation what he was in, because he had a partner and the partner brought them over and he was staying illegally, something like that. Anyway, from him talking about himself, yeah, I realised there wasn't a lot of belief within himself or ability to do what he needs to do. He would say stuff and never ever fact check it with internet sources or doing your own research about something. Say we're talking about a job or something at work. He's saying, no, that's because blah 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 told me that. Well, who's that? Who is that when they're at home? That's nobody. Why don't you just read up a bit on it, then you can understand the reason why that happens and what you're to do. Because you'd be smarter for yourself. I would think that a person who talks a lot of intellect and stuff like that, they would want to do something like that because it's better in yourself. It's not better in me, you know. It's not about like one up on the conversation, but I realise with a lot of those people is about one up on the conversation. And sometimes a person like myself, who maybe has come from some part of an educational background where I have been lecturing in schools, I do know what I'm talking about as a plumber. So therefore they see that as a bit of a threat, and the way they act when I say something towards them is in like, oh, you're judging me because I don't judge you. I don't care about you. Like I said it at the beginning, I'll say it now again. I would never invite you to my property or to where I lived at any point to celebrate or to do anything, because it's not like that between me and you. So if I generally say something, it's not with any malicious thoughts or patronizing, or in any way am I trying to demasculate you from who you feel that you are. Because I don't know who you feel you are at some points. That's why I've always stayed away from 99% of these characters. I've worked at, like, let's say over my span of working at companies, yeah, definitely worked at maybe 25 places. And I met a lot of different men, white, black, Asian, Indian. They've all had their own different characters, but because I spoke about this Jamaican man, I should speak about someone else. I once worked with a guy and he was really hot up on like being a Jack the Lad type of person, because he felt like he came from a rough estate
average speed check
back in the day. But that's fine, you know, but you wasn't born in the estate, you was born in a hospital. Do you know what I mean? And you had a home. So how rough you feel your life was and how that impacts people after, like when they're like, he's like in his 50s, it still stays with people. People are still traumatized from that experience, living on an estate, of going through hardship or whatever, and perpetuating it to other people, but also telling me, myself, that, oh, you know, guys like us. What are you talking about, bruv? I'm not from an estate. I would never claim somewhere where I'm not from. I don't see the point in that. Doesn't make me more macho, doesn't make me more, well, anything. It just makes you say that you're from an area. I don't see the point in that. And when we used to talk, he said to me once, oh, you know, guys like us, we're not gonna have these like fancy things and blah blah blah. I said, no, maybe a guy like you are not gonna have it. I work hard for what I have, and I don't have the same mindset as you. So that's why we're not friends. Do you get it? Like, me and him are not friends like that at any point. Again, never invite them types of people to my house. That's like a rule of thumb. And when I say like keep to myself, it's just because I realise I've got a few things going on in life, and some people haven't, and therefore they want you to be in the same boat as them, when we're obviously individual people, you know. And a lot of the time I feel that people feel that there's some type of rivalry, me versus you vibe. There's not. You know, if you feel that way, don't know, you need to sort it out, man, because that could be damaging for you. Because looking at most of these older people, and they're older men than me, I would have thought late 46s, 48s to 50s, 52s, I would have thought you would have had it figured out by now, where you would have realised that the competition of life is only with yourself. It's not with anybody else. Why you can't gel with people who are younger than you is because you feel that it's me versus you. Why? I've never said that. Tolerating people and talking to people, you wouldn't talk to someone who you see as like your rival. But I've realised even men in their 60s feel that sometimes when I've been talking to them, oh, you feel like you're too smart, you feel like you know everything. If I felt like I knew everything, why would I ask you things? That really bugged me for a bit. And then I thought to myself, my best way of letting it out like that is making a video like this, being honest about it, and saying this is why I don't really gel with those types of work bods on that type of tip, just because what I'm doing and what they're doing is different in life right now. And because it might seem like you've got a lot of things going on your plate, I'm talking about me, they can't relate to it, or they feel as if you should be doing this because I've done this at your age, and you know, like, look where I am. But you're nowhere where I would want to be. I don't idolize other people, and I think that sometimes people take that as a disrespect because I say I don't idolize next man. But I have a dad, I idolize him, that's my father. For me to be infatuated with another man is just not something that I've grown up doing. You know, when I was a child, yeah, I watched WWF. I like MC Hammer and stuff like that. I'm not playing about. Big dancer. Everybody knows MC Hammer was a rude boy. So my idols are people like Gladiators. Remember Shadow? Yeah? That was a person who I looked up to when I was a child. And when I became an older adult, I'm an observer of people. So it's not because I feel like I'm someone I like to be quiet when I go into a room. I like to be quiet because I like to observe other people, because when you watch other people, you pick up on so many different things. Oh, he's one of them. Oh, he's loud. Oh, you tell other people what to do. Okay. And I do this, and sometimes another thing I do is I ask them one or two questions. I asked another man who's like in his 60s as well, and he works, and I said, well, what's your plan? Like, what's your like exit plan? And he didn't know it. And the whole day we was working together, the whole day this person was giving me a spiel about life and being set up and this and that. And I said, oh, okay. What was your plan? Because it'd be interesting to hear. And it wasn't in a condescending way or anything like that. I was just genuinely interested to listen to what that person had to say. And to find out there's no plan in the end, but you had all this talk before, you know, what I learned is that you can talk, but you can't talk your way out of a paper bag. That's it. Not being funny, but it is helpful to have these conversations with these older men at work and in the working environment, because a lot of people haven't got it figured out. A lot of people have got the wrong end of the stick about the next generation, about the other people who are here before them. The reason why they're here, the reason why we obviously get up and do work is obviously to make money, but the reason why we can continue to doing that is because we're getting somewhere in life. And when you're getting somewhere in life, you just need constant consistency in that point. And other things what you listen to around you and you hear around you, you listen, innit? I listen. I don't move like I'm stubborn. You know, another person, how they've made it for themselves could be an interesting topic for me to listen to, get some ideas from. But generally,
exiting average speed check.
Like, you don't get situations which are the same. When I say the same, I mean you don't get situations where people can repeat their blueprint too many times. It works for him. I'm not gonna say it's gonna work for you, but you can take some ideas from it. Which I super take ideas from everybody around me to be able to mold myself into a better person, you know? I understand that nobody's perfect. No man's perfect. Even if they portray themselves to be, there's something which you can work on. And I think a lot of the time in the working environment, you get to see what people only want to show you. So I've had a mixed, like, where I've met some good men, yeah, that come work, do their thing, get the jobs done, sit down, crack on, just talk about life and stuff like that. I like that, you know, that's a bit of me, because no matter like what colour man that might be having a conversation with me and all that, yeah, you can still learn stuff. And I do learn stuff off those types of people, man. But the other people that want to be the philosopher and give like the long chat about, oh, well, you should be doing this, and you know, at my age I used to do all my filing, and I used to clean out the shed, and I used to do... Big man, that is you, man. Where's it got you? I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that what have you learnt from it? It's gave you some skills, cool. But what? And I know that as working men get older, they want to warrant how resourceful they were and how they used to do this, and it's all a lot of pastime talk, which is cool, you know, for your son. Like, every other person don't want to hear that shit. Just gonna keep it real, man. Like, It's okay in some instance because someone wants to explain to you how difficult the job was or what they had to do. But generally the job, what I do, is a physical job. So I'm not saying that someone who is physically fit is going to be the best at it, because there's a lot of other more factors go into it. But it does definitely help. And even when I've met other individuals at work, like I met a young African guy, and he was very egotistical of himself, which, you know, you thought you was the same kind of age as me, but I've done a lot of stuff. I've done a lot of stuff, and I openly say that, not to be boasty. And I always offer help to young black men as well, man, because when I see them in this industry, I want more people to be, you know, just filling up the gaps where it needs to be done. And I helped him with a logo. I helped him with like just designing and putting up himself to like the public, which I know now that a lot of people would charge as a content creator to help someone do something like that. But I do it out of the kindness. I don't do it because I want him to tell other people, oh, Mr. London Plumber helped me set up this. No, you don't have to do that. That's dumb. I'm doing it because we're here together. You told me something which you're invested in, and I just want to help. That's just, I think we're at work, we've got some time to kill, let's do it. I know that he wasn't very appreciative of it, but I wasn't looking for a thank you by doing it. I was doing it just out of the kindness anyway. So, long story short, time comes to it when we're working. He's a bit, you know, irate or annoyed and all that. So he's like, whoa, you think you know everything. Well, I know more than you because I'm willing to learn. I know more than you because I'm willing to read books. I know more than you because I'm really in my industry. You tell me that you're in your industry, but there's basic stuff what you just don't know as an electrician. And that's like basic stuff. And I got my brethren who is top flight electrician, who I know I speak to on a regular, and you don't know none of the stuff that he knows. I know that for sure. Am I comparing you? Hell yeah. Because you said that you're top tier. Again, I think a lot of people do that in the workplace, want to care about being Premier League and top tier and stuff like that. And let's just keep it real, man. You don't get that type of bread, and we're not in that type of field of doing that. And comparing yourself to someone who is a lot younger than you and able, I mean, it's the wrong level of rivalry what you're looking for at this point in life. And I always try to understand it, because it's always been something was kind of bugged me, because again, if I was like not a nice person and wasn't willing to help any of these individuals who I've spoke about in this video, I wouldn't have helped the guys try and set up his company. I wouldn't have told him what to do. I wouldn't have showed him how to use these apps. I wouldn't have done any of those things if I wasn't trying to help them. If I wasn't trying to help the person who needed the help, who told me that, oh, you think you know everything, I would have never got out of my bed or stopped the things what I was doing in life to help that person, because I thought they was in a need of help. And I know that sometimes people say things out of emotion and stuff like that. Even though men think they're not like super emotional people, they are, because I know I work with a lot of different men and we chatting shit about different stuff, you know what I mean? You be around someone for long enough and you will hear their life. And I heard a lot of these people's lives, and it's sometimes a balance which is missing from their life, and a crazy focus on work when you need to be focusing on the balance being equal. But even with the people that tell me about what they used to do back in the day, and oh, I only used to get paid this much, and I used to have to do this and that. Big man, when you wake up in the morning, yeah, every single day, you got this one gift. You could close your eyes, or you could get on with what you gotta get on with. But no one ain't gonna give you no gold stars, ain't gonna give you no stickers. And you know, this is your life from back in the day where that guy used to bring out that red book. That shit is over a long, long time ago. But if you just be yourself at work, I think that for me as a person, I get on with people, you know what I mean? I ain't really got no super bad vibes for people. I don't have to, there's never really been much time for that. I mean, I can only reiterate so many times that personally in my own life,
traffic,
yeah,
7 minutes.
I got a lot of like other things going on. So work is just somewhere what I use as a vessel to pay for a lot of other things. That's it really. Not really nothing what I look too deep into. It's just weird to keep meeting up with these same individuals and not realize that there is a pattern or a problem. And maybe it's because they get sucked into the whirlwind of work and working bods. But my life has been a little bit blessed where I've got a few more options, and I explore some of them options while working, while trying to maintain a certain standard of life. And when I come across these people, to be honest, yeah, I've realized now that these people make the best type of content, because everybody's met someone who is like this. Regardless if you want to talk about it or not, you have. You work with someone who's a nagger, you work with someone who will blame things on you when it's nothing to do with you. And that whole like taking responsibility on something or an action is more an adult trait. It's not a child trait, and it's a trait of someone who is responsible, not irresponsible. But it's always led me to the point of the reason why it's kind of like best to be a recluse at work, just because I'm not into too many people fucking with my energy or fucking with my peace. And that's what I find that they do. Fuck with your peace. I don't want that. I just want to be left alone. And if I need be to do anything, I do it. I get it done, man. I really don't play about with work when I'm in the right rhythm, when I'm given work to do. I get on with it. I rarely have jobs which I can't complete. I mean, I've not had one in so long. I couldn't tell you about one now. I'm trying to think about if I've got one or I had one before, but I haven't, which I'm proud of, but I don't boast about. Who cares? Nobody cares if I don't do my job or do it. But having a clean slate to me is something which I feel proud about. But only you recognize your own story, innit? So that's why I don't try and make my story creditable around any of those types of people, because it's irrelevant, because you're not in my world. That's how I look at it. I just want to know people's thoughts and what type of people they have inside their workplace. Are they the same? Are they different characters? Do you come across these types of things? Have you heard about this thing before? Like, but even if you ain't, you might as well subscribe, like, and share. And drop a little comment as well. Let's get it.